Hey guys, welcome to another MTM video. Please don't get distracted by the mustache because today we're going to be going over 5 different things that you can check on your car to keep it road ready during lockdown. So in this video we'll be counting down our 5 top tips to keep your car road ready during this lockdown. So let's kick off with number 5. So number 5 on our list is to actually start the car. This might seem quite self-explanatory, but what this does is make sure that it's ready to go when you need it. Last thing that you want is to jump in the car, try to start it, and she doesn't start. That's the number one complaint that we're getting at the moment, is that cars are being left unattended, not being driven for days, and when the drivers do go in to jump in, nothing happens. So, start your car. Also, worth mentioning, when you do start your car, it's worth checking your dash for any warning lights that stay on. If anything does stay on, it's an indication of a fault, and you should get that checked out by a professional. Okay, so tip number 4 is to check our tyres. What we're looking for here is to see for any uneven wear. So what I would do is turn the wheel all the way out. You can see the whole width of the tyre because you want to check for uneven wear. Also, if it's worn down below the legal limit, which is 1.6 millimeters in the UK. In the event of uneven wear, you want to check to see how bald it is on the outer edge and to see if there's any cords, because that would be dangerous and I wouldn't advise that you drive your car then. But on these tyres, if you don't have a tread depth gauge, there are little guides that are roughly around 1.6, but they're not always. So I would recommend getting a tread depth gauge. They're only a couple of pounds online, and you can just place them in the treads and you'll be able to see your reading on the dial. So this is a fairly simple check to do, and it can save you a lot of headaches later on. While you're here, it's a good idea that you can check your tyre pressures as well. Again, you don't really have the option at home to inflate your tyres unless you have an at-home kit that sometimes comes as part of your emergency kit that's in your boot. But what I would recommend is that you can go to any kind of petrol station. More often than not, they have one there, or if you can call into a garage, they'll top up your tyre pressures for you. But if you did want to do them yourself, so on the Renault Capture, there's a little sticker on the driver's door just to say what the tyre pressures should be. So for example, on this, the fronts are 2.3 bar or 33 psi, and on the rear it's 2.1 bar or 30 psi. Normally, if you don't know what tyre pressures to set your car to, 32 psi is a normal rough idea of where it should be if you don't have any information for your car. But like I said, normally there's a sticker on the driver's door, but sometimes it's different for different manufacturers, so check on the doors just to see if you can find yours. Okay, so number 3 on our list is to check the lights are working. What you want to do is jump in, start the car. If you've got daytime running lights on your car, as soon as you start the engine, they should come on. So you want to check if they're working. Then you want to start checking your side lights, dip beam, main beam, left and right indicator, front and rear fogs, as well as our hazard switch. With the hazard switch, you want to check that with the engine running and with it off, just to make sure that it's working properly, because the hazard switch should work regardless if the car is on or not. In regards to the brake lights, as long as you have something reflective behind you so that you can clearly see if the bulbs are working, that's fine. But ideally, you'd have someone with you to tell you if they're working or not. Yep, it's a very simple check, but it's surprising how many people don't do it. Okay, number 2 on our list is to check our oils and our fluid levels under the bonnet. So this can be quite a daunting task if you don't know what you're looking for, so we're going to run through it now. The first thing that we're going to want to do is to check our oil level. And now that we've just knocked the engine off after checking our lights, now is the perfect time to do it because some of the oil has had time to circulate through the engine. What we are looking for is the oil symbol. So you can see here on this yellow handle that there is a oil symbol just on the top of it to indicate that this is for filling your car with oil. On the Renault Capture, these are also the dipsticks. On most cars, they're separate, so you'll have a filler like this and you'll have another tab elsewhere that you can pull as your dipstick. So you want to pull this out and give it a clean first of all. And you'll be able to see on here that there is a minimum and a maximum line. You want it somewhere in the middle there just to make sure that it's safe to drive, but ideally you want it sitting around the 3/4 to the maximum mark. Also, when you do pull it out, it can be a habit to try and lean upwards to bring it to you so that you can see it. But doing that lets the oil run down and can give you a false reading. So just dip it with it clean, pull it back out, and then you can see our reading. You see our oil is a little bit low. That's going to need topping up. But that's what these checks are for, so that we can see what needs to be done. So I give it another clean, and put it back. Next up is our washer fluid. You can see here there's a little symbol for the windscreen washers. So we're going to fill this up. You want to get screen wash and you can fill this right up to the top. This is our coolant bottle. We know this is our engine coolant because of the symbol that's on the top, warning us not to open it when it's hot, because this is a pressurized system. If the engine was hot and the coolant was hot and we opened this, it would decompress and all very hot steam would be coming rushing out the top. But as it is now, when the engine is fairly cold, what you want to do is check that it's on the maximum level. Our maximum level here is right where this seam is on the bottle itself. So that's right. And you want to have a look at the colouring. Without any equipment, you can't really tell how strong the antifreeze level is going to be, but you can kind of have a rough idea just by how strong the colour is. The last fluid that we're going to be checking is our brake fluid. You'll see here there's the brake fluid symbol there, which is similar to the symbol that comes up when you pull up your handbrake. So with this, quite often the reservoirs are quite hard to see. You can see that there's a minimum and maximum level right there on the side, but it can be quite hard to see where the actual level is. A little tip is to open the top with a torch, shine the light in, and you'll be able to see on the side where the minimum and maximum levels are. So finally, number one, our top tip to make sure that you are road ready during this lockdown period is your battery. You need to make sure that it's fully charged and ready to go. This is the main thing that plays up for people just when you haven't used your car in a couple of days after it's been cold, and you go in, jump in your car just when you need it, and she doesn't have the power to start, and you end up having to have someone to jump start it for you. What we can do is check that it's charging ourselves. If you have a multimeter at home, you can do this easily enough. Or you can buy a simple at-home charger, so you don't have to have it running all the time to make sure that your battery is charging. So, and I'll show you how to hook it up. So this is a basic charger that you can buy from any kind of automotive shop, just to make sure that you can charge the car without having to take it out on any unnecessary trips. So what you're going to do is plug it into the mains. And then you want to take the positive and negative terminal and attach them to the battery. You have to do this correctly because although some more sophisticated chargers will realize your mistake, some of them won't, and you can cause major issues if you put these on the wrong way around. So normally it's red to red, positive to positive. They will have symbols on them. So you're going to put red to red and negative to negative. Once you've hooked up your at-home charger, it'll ask you if it's a slow, fast, or trickle charge. You'll be able to choose that setting depending on what kind of machine you've got. But I'm not going to show you on this one because it could be different to the ones that you've got at home, and I don't want to confuse you. And that is our list for our top 5 tips to keep you on the road during lockdown. Guys, I hope this helped. I hope this gave you something to think about in regards to looking at your car. And obviously, if you think there's something that should have been on this list and isn't, please let us know. Leave a comment and start a conversation. Let's have a talk about it. Before I forget, guys, please like, share, subscribe, and next week I won't have the mustache. Cheers.